Eternity, eternity to eternity, magical, sacred harmony, positive power, infinite connection, positive and vertigo, positive and vertigo, positive and vertigo, reflection. All right, so in the deck of cards, we choose whichever numbers come into play when we say mind. When we say mind, we are going to imply 2. Mind equals 2. When we say body, 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 body. When we say body, we want confirmation from the number 10, reflection. So we got 2 eternity for mind, and we got reflection for body. Okay, so 2 eternity and reflection. Body will be residing under the frequency of reflection. Mind will be residing under the frequency of 2 eternity. I find it funny that I don't say plural eternity, even though I'm saying 2. It's kind of like acknowledging that each one is of its own. If you feel like donating, I suppose you can find me on a Patreon or find a Venmo. I don't put anything down below. I don't play I ain't never played right. I don't play well with others. All right, so mind, body, and so now we want a frequency replication of soul, representing soul, a frequency is 5. Okay, so right off the bat, harmony. Okay, soul equals 5 equals harmony. Okay, and we have 5 coming up elsewhere as well. I'll say that. On the picture of my post, I'll have the astrology.com chakra tarot that I recommend for everyone. I'll have a picture of it because I recommend it. It's like $21.95, you know, and if you can get some in-depth readings from there, that would be super duper cool in pertaining to your chakras and all that. So definitely consider wellness to be the only revolution, and has maintained life's revolution since the beginning of eons. And since I like to pull 4 cards, sacred, I like to think of health, wealth, and hearth. Health, wealth, and hearth. It's kind of like hearth is what you do with your wealth and what you do with your health, and how you combine those two things and create something of a legacy, if you will. Everything that falls under your creation. And so that's the frequency. So whereas mind, body, and soul are these contracts, health, wealth, hearth is what you do with the contract, you know? You want to say it like that? I'll say it like that. That's what I'll say it like. So if you want to think of it as the outcome, I suppose you could do that too, right? Right. Okay. And the way I do it, health, wealth, hearth, what's the frequency that I want to, that is being brought in? Frequency that's being brought in for health, wealth, and hearth. Health, wealth, and hearth. Today will be infinite connection. Oh no, not infinite connection. It will be positive and vertigo. All right, so positive and vertigo. Going away from that which is positive in order to be able to return. So we look at this as confirm, how do I say? Positive and vertigo is where, again, you're going away from the positive in order to quantify if it is positive, in fact, and if so, will come around again after the struggle of proving it positive and or other, which would then require it to be in the waste pile. Stand. Are we getting it? Are we getting this good? Getting this good? Okay, so there we have it. That is that. All right. So we did get the chakra reading. Okay. And so we are going to now do what is today's numerology? I forgot to research something. Gosh, damn it. Are we going to start over because I didn't research it? Today's date. Who knows it? Fuck if I know. I want to say it's after the 10th. Yesterday was the 10th. Is today the 11th? Fuckery, really. Come on now. Huh. Nothing. Aye. All right, well, we left out the day's reading. F. All right, I'll be right back. Look at the pretty gold. It's like raging on your wedding day. It's a smooth ride, a free ride when you're already paid. It's the good advice that you just can't take. And who would have thought it figured? All right, so today is the 11th. It is the day after the 10th, which is yesterday. So yesterday was body, and today is mind. So if you were feeling more physical yesterday and today you're feeling more mental, that might be why. I mean, that might not be why, but there's an association, I would say. Not necessarily why, how come, or whatever like that. We don't think in those ways. Why? We stopped thinking in those ways a long time ago, right? We've got a practice of another kind. And so what I mean to say is we are on the life path 2 today. Dos. All right? To eternity. Okay, so they have a lot of information always everywhere. And so I was able to just, go run in fucking Wikipedia and confirm my train of thought, which is, again, I don't go too deep into things. You guys can look it up too and interpret your information as you see fit. I interpret it the way I interpret it, and I think we're all subject and limited by our interpretations, especially our interpretations of each other. So, with that, October 11th it came up in our body, in our mind, so it represents mind, and it also represents the life path. So our life path could be of 2 minds, 2 mental trajectories, the duality of wanting to go one way and wanting to behave another, and or stuff like that. Having to have 2 jobs, having 2 kids, having in that all these kinds of different things that we can pit against each other, right? Having family in the red, having family in the blue. You know what I mean? Figure it out, right? So with that, I guess I'll go into saying astrology.com gave us a pool on chakras today, and so I'm just going to interpret that and see what that was about and see how y'all resonate or other with or without that. And so, sometimes it's sometimes it's just a soundbite in the whole entire movie that is necessary. So I don't take things so serious. Cards are like entertainment for the universe, television before television kind of thing. Making up stories in a way that can give archetypes within the different struggling archetypes. Sometimes one house of your astrology struggles with another house of your astrology. You are one way on the outside, but inside you're really another way. These kinds of things, when it comes to your mental health and stuff like that, we always want to feed the body properly in order to have a strong mind, okay? So in that, we're going to start with our notes, okay? I'm going to pick 16 cards based on our mind, dose, body, reflection, soul, harmony, health, wealth, hearth as a positive in Vertigo with a Kali Oracle card in the life path numerology. Dos, representing mind. Alright, so I suck. Everybody knows that. Everybody in the whole freaking planet knows that when it comes to shuffling cards, I can shuffle a regular deck, but these big ass cards, my fingers were not made to do that one. Okay? So, here we go, loop de loo. Here we go, loop de lie. Here we go, loop de loo. All on this Friday night. All right, so root chakra, we want to think of red. We want to think of passion. We want to think of your sense of safety, your survival. I think of it as the beginning and the end, the final gateway, the transition. They say it represents the colon, the bladder, the teeth. Okay, these are the things where you break down that which is matter and turn it into gas and or other. Okay, central nervous system, that means dissecting where the final awareness is and core, you know. So when we talk about, you know, our expelling properties and all of that kind of thing, you know, I think of that. I should have probably got my glasses. They say, you know, the root chakra, you want to think of the earth and juniper, red juniper, and hemonite. I guess that's really bad if I'm not pronouncing it right, huh? Bloodstone, smoky quartz. In the root chakra, we pulled Wheel of Fortune, cycles of change, pawning. So cycles, in here we have like where our belief systems are being digested. It seems like what about food knowledge, seed knowledge, is going to benefit us, and how is that going to bring mental clarity? Because the ability to understand not just the ebbs and flows, but how to gather food during the ebbs and the flows. So when there's nothing, do you know what to utilize? When there's too much, do you know what to restrain from utilizing? Having a clear understanding of what to exchange at the top of something and what to exchange at the bottom of something, in order to understand that you now have gathered all of that and have the knowing of these things. You have the awareness of these things now, because of we're at the end of the process. This is the root. This is the beginning of the process. This is where all that is last of you will be utilized into making you, and all that cannot be used anymore will be relinquished and expelled. And so you're at that time of change where you can extract just the best of all of your knowledge in order to navigate the final paths, the final gateways of your passion, of your beginning and end, so that you may have that awareness of what provides your safety, and what was safe before may not be safe now, and what's going to be safe may not be safe in the future. And so that's why having that ability to navigate how to process things when you have or when you have not, or I should say without rather than not, in that way, because we're going to get into the mixed messages here, because in this, when we pulled the Wheel of Fortune for the root chakra, the Wheel of Fortune is represented by a numerical Roman numeral X, equaling 10, equaling reflection, equaling body here in our pooling of our understanding of our cards here. So it seems to be represented by all the elements that I can think of, and space as well. And so there's this, again, the root, the bottom part, the last of everything that is necessary to know before moving on to the next phase, the last phase, the final phase, before becoming something entirely else. Okay? In the sacral, where the color that represents that is orange, we have our instinct, we have our creativity, we have our sense of wrong and right, or how do you say wronging in against someone's rights. How do you say? And then so this one comes in as 9, Roman numeral 27, which breaks down to 9. And so we also have health, wealth, hearth, showing up in our sacrals. So that's an interesting one. So before I analyze that, let's get into the sacral being the place where we exchange that which enlightened us in becoming self, has now turned into self, and we are creating self and enjoying that process and thriving off of that process, the physical exchange of ether into matter. It kindles in it, and it keeps that fire the same, like in our root, we need that fire to maintain us as much as we need all the other elements, but mostly exchanging into earth at the root. The sacral chakra gives us our instinct action, our not just our knowing of our truth, but our action behind our truth. And we are, boundless. It is said to be ruled by Venus, a very passionate and fiery place that is not it's not the root of our passion, it's the creation of our passion. It's like what comes in through that side and then becomes, you need to understand the ins and the outs, and the outs and the ins, and what they represent for, and how the body knows exactly to expel something and or bring into something. And it is the space for all things to become successful, for all things to connect to the universe within this space, because it is only the presence of abundance. It is the power of creation shaping its connection to each being, its response to the call. Sacral. Okay, and so it's represented here in our pool, in our card, and also in our astrology.com chakra reading pool, under positive and vertigo interpretations, health, wealth, hearth. So we're talking very specifically about what we create and how we create. Must have that positive effect long after, so that when it's wasted, all was used in the good times and in the bad times, in the worst times and in the best times, that we were able to utilize every part of this living, this joy, this light, that ignites, illuminates our reaction to be. And so herein lies the answer to why is it so dark at times. Herein lies the answer to where is my space, where is my time, how do I connect. Herein lies the answer to what am I going to be and where am I going to go. Because in the guts, everything that you put in on self will be all about you. Everything that you have brought into yourself, mind, body, and soul in the learning of, and then turned around and created with your hand, voice, and or being, is what the answer is. You look around. What have you created? What is your reflection approaching? What do you see in the future? Because in the future you have a full body of something, a full body of work, a full body of creation, a full, of career, of family, of whatever it is, body of evidence is your reflection, having come from what you put in during the down times, during the up times. What did you put in on it? What did you plant and build? How is your bone structure? How is your wisdom? Do you understand what you're healing in this lineage? Have you been working on your prayers in that way? We pulled the Star card, which is where all that Venus and boundless and successful visions and stuff came from, because we pulled the Star card. So we talked about the well, we didn't talk about too much, but well, I guess I didn't get to that yet. Star card being hope and inspiration. I think it's Aquarius, and I always just think of mothers because so many women, but there's a lot of men who are Aquarius too, and we honor the mothers within them as well. So in the sacral, pulling the Star card, I guess that's what the 9 was all about too. Okay, so just kind of understanding that in this place where creation happens, and communication of what to do with creation happens via the belly button and all that good stuff, I want you to kind of think of that as the the I mean, it's a horrible understanding, but the the place upon which your painting or sculpture begins, it's it's the place to build the new thing that's coming in from all that's useful within. When you spawn a notion and you need the confirmation, the answer lies inside of the guts. And so your birthing of knowledge is always going to be confirmed by inspiration, where you can challenge whatever notion and make it a new notion if need be. You have that ability to always adapt to and find the positive outcome of the knowledge, because it must remain useful even in the dark times, because I have the necessary knowledge to be able to navigate in that way. Then we have the ability to exchange in the dark, because our spidey senses are lighting the way with their approaching reflections, where we have the inspiration that will become body upon reflecting. And in the solar plex, we have yellow. You want to think of yellow, personal power, digesting into what will be turned into nourishment, waste, or birthing. The confidence of knowing what goes on into the next, the inner strength of, and the building blocks of it's the first point of entrance into the greater digestion, as the teeth are the last point upon which something comes in and is no longer on the outside, and we're chewing our into our being. We use a solar plex to navigate the communications from the biosphere, what this particular calculation of matter is going to present itself as. Our personality, our ego is within us confidently as an instinct of guiding the soul's, contract. And we keep that fire and water balance strong. And it is represented by the Empress, which is numerology 3, not a numerology 3, but who do you call it? Roman numeral 3, and so it's magic. So we won't think about the magic of this knowledge, of this confirmation, of this confidence, and what it can build, and all of that good stuff, and how your ability to shine that in all of the universes, you're able to shine something purposeful, that even if it's just that I exist, that's a huge something in this plane. We are without mistakes in that way, made exactly as you have designed yourself to be made for every experience that you've come in to know. My apologies for the struggles therein. I believe that being on a life path too, you come from a place of knowing both the soul's journey as well as how many times your physical body has done this. 200, 2,000, 2 million, 2. Being aware of that, and then still having full desire in both of those arenas to continue living. Forget about the struggle. We just know we got to get to it. And we like the idea of putting some fire underneath that movement. So we get up and we go in that way. And so magic is pulled here in the solar plex, where our personality takes shape into physical being. And, you know, you want to think about, you know, Empress and all of that. And, I mean, we're talking about having absolute awareness of all space and the use of the elements and everything like that. Empress, the direction, the use of the directions, all of the magic within those directions, and having full understanding of the mind, body, and soul triad and the necessaries to deliver that to those who need it most in all of the kingdoms. A doctor before there was doctoring, you know, in that way. And so having a certain ability to deliver, to ensure this exchange, this magical exchange delivers, and that ability to deliver exactly what we are creating in the way that it is meant to be delivered. Understanding the digestion and the ability to yield that. And then again, respecting all the mothers, within the sons, within the fathers, all the mothers. And in that way, the grandfathers and their mothers. And the mothers, grandfathers, mothers. All of them. And in that awareness, we bring us to having pulled for the heart. And in the heart card, heart area, we think of green, light green. And the more, how do I say? Heart, light green, ability for balance of emotions, the brain of empathy, truth without deniability, grounded passing of what's loved will always be loved, letting go. That we pulled the death card, so there was something about letting go. I just, the heart, it's like in charge of the communication bridges. Like, yeah, so if a bridge needs to be built, it's between understanding and passion, so that something could get built, it's going to happen via the heart. The heart will make it so. The heart will circulate for the parts of knowing. And in doing this job, it's the only one who has this job. And so all of this knowledge into power of knowing then must restrain itself from being overly isolated. And in that knowing, a compass and all knowing of all things being loved now and in the hereafter and all that good. And so that brings us to having been pulled the death card, and how that does mean how the Roman numeral 13 into 1 into 3 is 4 is sacred. And so we pulled the death card, and it's sacred, open expression, the way of loving changes from time to time, the way we faced love's changes. Again, the heart is ruled by breath, so its movement is its own. Its breath is its own. Its ability to take in oxygen is its own. It's ignited with the thought. It's the first, and then the brain. Nerves. Who knows? I don't know. Shit, man. That's a tough one. What was created first? I know it came from the umbilical cord, and then we spawned. Was it a brain or was it a heart? I think it was a heart. And then from there, the fucking... But I don't know. I don't know. Are we still going? I don't know. Heart, brain. So anyhow, this is gonna be too long. It's not gonna let me do what I gotta do. So just, you know, the heart, the awareness of, you know, love, being surrounded by love even when you don't feel love. Again, it gets back into the ebbs and flow of things. Knowing that in the darkness, knowing it is the answer. Knowing that in the isolation is the awareness. Knowing that in the downtime, if you will, is the time of reflecting upon those joys of self. That is the sacred knowledge to be able to transform a heartbreak into a heart strength, to hold acceptance of conditions when laid to rest for a new starting point of healing, for a confirmation of a graduation. And just because I'm trying to be quick with it, the throat chakra, light blue into a teal as it becomes more impassioned. Expression, designation of glandular vibration, where creation is expressed via vibration, sound, harmonial call for and from animal self, sensory to communication, timing and rhythm awareness. Pulled the card High Priestess. It is a Roman numeral 2, which we pulled as mind. So eternity, mind. So we pulled 2 twice. Three times now. And So a duality of expression in the throat chakra, a duality of saying the good and the bad, and even having, an awareness of when to say the good and or the bad, the how to make every particular sound like the right time to say something. This is one of my favorite ones. I love the throat chakra. I love talking about it because, I'm a singer. So anyhow, High Priestess is about, listening to that inner voice, that inner heart, that inner mind, being able to have a sacred understanding or be part of the half that is the emotional awareness and empathy of that which is sacred, having part of the wisdom, having a trust of your wisdom. And then in the third eye for indigo, the newly coming into the deep purple, the passing of the ancient, the glandular connection to the all-knowing, connecting with our outer path as much as our inner path encompass whole of knowing, see into the sights that what was before has come to pass. What can be grown therefrom is the next knowing. And so our glandular awareness of space and everything, it puts into perspective that there is one particular arena, the endocrine system, that connects us to. And so when I talk about the heart and how the heart is in charge of the skin and the endocrine, you know what I mean? I'm it's like it's one giant gland that is all unto its own, and our glands attach, our glandular comprehension and awareness connects to that to diagnose what type of being we are, what kind of cellular communication we have internally. Okay, this shit goes deep. I love this shit. Glandular communication on a frequency. How do I know where to put my chakras? If not for this comprehension of vibrational interpretation. How do I know what to sing and what to scream if I don't know the vibrational interpretation? And so the third eye is where we gain that awareness of what's coming and what's going that creates us. Okay, and so in here we pulled the World card, and it has Roman numeral 21, 2 X's and an I, and so 21 is 3. So 3 we also pulled for another magic. There was magic for the solar plexus, yellow. So if I put like an indigo and a yellow right next to each other, it's fucking awesome, man. The idea that these, that one's not directly related to the other, as they both adhere to space, and that is they are part of what is so magical. And then our 3 glands that make up the third eye in the brain, and so and how magical that is. It creates our skin, it creates our height, it creates how our skin interprets what we make, and that skin lines every single one of our cells. I mean, I say it over and over, it's fucking amazing, man. And so in that way we want to figure out where our path of our connections and our creations, and how we encompass the whole of our knowing, the whole of our understanding, the whole of our insight. How do we see into the sights? What are the sights that we see when we're seeing into the sights? And how are we dissecting that space and place for us, and what we are deciding is us? How is it going to take us to the next knowing? We've got the world card, so the next knowing is approaching, the next comprehension is there. The magic of spinning constantly is happening. And so the vibrations are always a churning, and we are always interpreting these vibrations, and we are always spinning. And so every coming, with every passing, as I put food in, as I think to put food in, and then I become to put food in, you know, these things are happening. And so the exchange is always going in that way. In the crown chakra, we think pink. It is where ether hits the minds, and our frequency is confirmed. Our awareness is lit. We pulled the Hierophant, and the Hierophant, if nothing, is that sacred confirmation, that understanding that there are traditions, and that in this way the physical being is able to have a bit of, charge over the four directions, and still the fifth element of space must be honored. And so having an absolute awareness of where your sound, your sacred confirmation, your harmony is pulled. So then we have 5 is pulled for the Hierophant. It's a Roman numeral 5, V. Looks like it's ruled by Taurus. And so that just gives me steadfast, harmonious awareness of your frequency, an ability to utilize all 4 directions and the power there within to harmonize, by again allowing them to have their proper space. It's an awareness to use rather than just to remain halfway there. To use it and to stop procrastinating. Stop being stubborn, if you will, about the next knowing, because knowing is without ego. Knowing is without attachments. Knowing just knows it's gotta go. And the crown is the place that has already set the direction. We've already mapped our trajectory. There is already a tradition of this contract. And it's beyond you. You're just occupying the space and the shape that confirms the need to go forth. Because in all of existence, we are here to ensure one thing, and that is that existence goes on. And so it was so funny. The third eye, what did we get? The third eye, we got the world card or something like that. What was it? Third eye, we got the world card, and all I could think of was flat earth, because, you know, in my sci-fi opera, there's the flat earth being, and it's fucking hilarious. So that had me cracking up, okay? The reason why I think about that is, you know, because of this, whether it's flat or a circle or whatever type of plane of existence it is, we've already been given the tools and the traditions on how to live. And so it is simply up to us to fulfill the contract. And yet we're always just trying to ask why and where and when and all this stuff, when the vibrations are already there, when the confirmation is already there, when the foods are already provided, when the, you know, we just have to go through it. We have to live through it. We have to. There's no other way for our consciousness to evolve into the next, and so on and so forth. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. All right, trying as hard as I can to go fast. We got 5. Gana Tanshila. And so soul. All right, so everything has come up, interestingly enough. We had a 2 appear. We now have the 5 appear. We had the 10 appear, and we had the 9 appear. All right, so 2 came up a couple of times and all that good stuff. 5 comes up, so harmony. This one, it looks like the beginning, the middle, and the after. So it's about a life cycle, something in that beginning, middle, and after, you know, if I recall. You know, it has to do with you know, different spaces and times and stuff like that. The different elements of space and time. Tomas, what is it? Ra. Shakta, Shakta, Svata, Satvat, something into that effect. Anyhow, let's see if I know anything. Let's go to see if I know anything. And I do apologize. I did not bring my freaking glasses today. We're going to have a hard time reading. So, just going to go as fast as we can. As fast as we can. Might not be able to go fast. Divine Mother, Divine Mother manifests care for when we feel overwhelmed or confused, or when we feel we're falling apart or locked into stagnation. She is superior medicine, even when we may be without what we need or capacity to bring ourselves back into balance. She holds the answers Tune in with your heart, and there you will find her sacred prescription. Trust your inner guidance, your sense of what to do or avoid, what to do next. Trust that a better order of being can be established. Okay, so a better order of being can be established. Okay, so that when we're putting in what we're putting in our mind and body, that we're able to dissect that knowledge of it's no longer good for us to do those things anymore, or we must learn to be without certain things. We've got to be without destruction. We've got to be without gluttony. We've got to be without over prescribing our diagnoses and whatnot, over fixing. We've got to be without under fixing. We've got to trying to find where I wrote it. Seeing as I didn't say it, it doesn't feel like I said it. Yeah. Without hurt, without being stuck, without being beaten. Our heart builds bridges in order to connect to the realities of our passion. That's anyhow, that, and then that was a 4. Okay, so just checking. Eternity, sacred, infinite connection, magic, positive, to eternity, magic, to eternity. Joker, I think that's a world card. No, I don't know what it is. Could be a hangman card. Could be anything you want it to be. In between eternity. So it's funny how we have eternity, okay, to eternity, okay. Infinite connection, positive, power, harmony, sacred. So the reading is eternity, okay. So passion, so it looks like our conflict of body is that which fuels our passion, and that's what fuels our financial mineral wealth, okay? So understanding that the mind is torn between a particular passion and a particular substance, that it struggles to find sacred communities that they can remain passionate about and infinitely connected to, and build an abundance with somebody else who is equally as passionate. This desire to have both passion and abundance of minerals and understanding of minerals, and just the fact that harmony comes up and sacred comes up so much, and that equals 9, which is home, health, hearth. It just kind of says that the soul will find its value when all else can be harmonious, as far as a balance of passion, a balance of nutrients, a balance of mental passion and mindful abundance. If I want to look at 10, my king and my queen represent 10 as much as they represent the 12 and 13. "13 came up over here under heart as well with the death card, but this one doesn't represent death card, so no, just knowing. Infinite connection comes up. And the more we honor that infinite connection of that which is our knowledge and that which is our community, it looks as though the power of our passion will be served. Confirmed a wee bit by the 2 eternity of knowledge and the 2 eternity of community, held together by both magic and sacred, as well as power and harmony. So it's important to understand that working together to create something mindful, and like, you need your community, I guess, even if it's your community and your collective of, you know, your inner bodies working together. You need that harmony of both your heart, your mind. You need the harmony of both your spirit and your guts. You've got to be able to exhale completely, is the, you know, is the end result at all times. You know, it's the knowledge that remains in the gut seeks the mind's confirmation of saying, okay, I'll deliver that to you. Okay, I'll make those fingers build that. Okay, I'm going to listen to my guts and create, you know, a new car, or fix my car, but change my tire, or know how to change my tire, or know my tire doesn't need to be changed. You know, I'm gonna utilize the knowledge. I'm gonna have my sensories on so that I can interpret the inner world, the physical world, and the metaphysical world. I'm going to figure out what it truly means to have awareness of how to bring in an indigo to my presence, because I need to have mental strength to understand when I'm going to bring in a deep purple element, in order to understand when I'm going to get rid of knowledge that is sacred and can be brought upon any other time, or when I need to be stubborn, when I need to hold true and not move because I'm right and I'm not wrong. You know, when to know those things, when to have the absolute awareness that you are of sound mind, body, soul, and know what you're capable of creating, what you have created, and what you are currently creating. And that you can have the duality of working with this and wanting to work for a future without it. That you can have historical fiction that doesn't, that you can write historical fiction without bringing in and recreating historical trauma. Let's hope that makes some kind of sense.